you what you couldn't learn. That's why we gotta keep putting in work, and maybe then the unity will emerge. We need a breakthrough to do all the things that ain't safe to. Use all the pain the game gave you. Let's show them why we irreplaceable. We irreplaceable. Together nobody can stop us. Had to move the mountains. Now we on
ready
the top.
Ready to fight, ready to win, and ready to make America great again.
At the speed of light. This is what living and dreaming is like. We living it so we can sleep at night. When our dreams collide, that's when we arise. Yeah.
The future is gonna be amazing.
We got so much to believe in. Feels like I'm rising to the ceiling. If we're dreaming, we could be it. The time is now.
How do you like my garbage truck?
And the future is a mystery. We know right now is a weapon. That's why we shooting to make history. We fired up, aiming for the sky ain't high enough. And now we looking down cause the time is up. Got so many wins, can't count them up. We ready to ride. Yeah. And we up for the fight. Yeah, we ready to ride. We up on a high. And we will arise. And we have arrived.
Let's hold on to this feeling. We got so much to believe in. Feels like I'm rising to the ceiling. If we're dreaming, we could be it. The time is now. The time is now.
All right. Let me get in here. All right, so that's one of the same dudes that brought us that other video, the fuck around and find out hardcore anthem. So I love these guys. Definitely worth the follow. I'm probably going to be getting more of this in the future. Guys, I'm so excited about today. Trump is hard to keep up with, but I've been doing my best. I've also been told that if I got the guns out, that the market does better. So I have prepared accordingly today. We will be talking, though, a lot about Trump again today. I got a feeling that's going to be like the next year. So there's just a lot of stuff going on that we need to discuss. And again, Scott Bessent comments, not just Trump. We got J.D. Vance. We got stuff happening all around the world. But Scott Bessent, some of the stuff that he said is definitely what we have to go over today. And so we'll be doing that. Very, very excited about where we're headed. BTC, all-time high with gold this month? Yeah, probably. Maybe. Again, we've still got pockets of air potentially ahead of us, but I don't know. With TLT, I think people are starting to wake up. With Tesla, I think they're starting to wake up. And, I read this great book, guys. Great book. Must read. Alex Karp's new book. Definitely check it out. It's a liberal's view into what's destroying the West right now and how we're fixing it. So you should definitely check it out. I think you'll love it. Let's get started, though. We got a lot to go over. So it looks like Trump, and we'll show his comments in a second. It looks like Trump is interested and doing a dividend towards the American people to incentivize them to want to cut waste, which I'm for. I didn't want it to be like some of the numbers I was originally hearing, like $5,000 checks per person out of nowhere, which are basically way larger than the amount that we're saving. I didn't want it to be that, okay? But I do like the idea. And I even commented up here, I said, let's make it 5 to 10% of Doge saves and put it in the Bitcoin strategic reserve. And then I clarified my comment underneath. I said, what about instead of larger checks to taxpayers, we do some of the following, which is like a 5% or maybe 10% back to taxpayers. I don't give a shit. As long as we're taking the majority of this and saving on our debt, that's what I care about. And then 5% to a Bitcoin reserve. That would actually be a shit ton of money. 10% to a sovereign. And again, maybe flip it. 10% cash back for taxpayers to incentivize them to want to cut waste and to help with the process. And then 5% to a Bitcoin reserve, 5% to a sovereign wealth fund. I think this is a fucking no-brainer. I think it's something we should do. I think, again, reinvesting in our companies in the United States and also investing in the new store of value is huge. Yeah, I didn't read it. I listened to it at 1.75x like I normally do. So I have completed the book. I'll probably give it a second go around. It was great, though. Alex Karp's got a very unique mind. And again, we'll talk about that in a second. Walter Isaacson, the same guy that wrote the biography for Elon Musk, said that it was a great book. Stanley Druckenmiller, Jamie Dimon, just very, like, a lot of people have already consumed it and love it. They probably got early access. I didn't, though. GNC, you got time to read books? I listen to books. I don't read anything. I've got one bad eye. This eye's like blind. So I have to listen to them. Otherwise I get huge headaches. Let's move on though. We got a lot. Oh, it looks like I bookmarked it twice. What the fuck? Did I bookmark it 3 times? Something's weird here. Let me refresh real quick. Something's weird. 1 second. I know I didn't bookmark it 20 times. It wasn't 20. So give me a sec. We'll fix this. The book isn't too long. No, it's pretty short. Well, how many pages is it? I didn't even, all I did was open it for the graphs. Yeah, it's less than 300. It's less than 300. It's like, let me get right through the back here. Oh yeah, it's like 250. No, less than that. 220, something like that. So it's a quick read. 1.75x, 7.5x would be really hard to consume. I did not do that. Dan Warren, the dividend seems like a good move. Yeah, I didn't like the numbers I was originally hearing. People were talking about $5,000 checks. If you run the numbers just on taxpayers, that's a stupid fucking figure. But I like the idea of maybe giving, again, maybe 10% that's saved. Oh yeah, I always buy the physical. Anything I really love, I always get the physical book because I might want to reference it later. And if nothing else, if I've already listened to the audiobook and read it, I can give it to a friend and pass it on to them so that they can learn something too. So that's always a thing, bro. That's always a thing. And plus I want to support him, right? Like Alex Karp is a great patriot for not just America, but for the West. And I want to support his work. Let's look here real quick. All right. So there's so much going on in Trump land. Let's see. Better make time to read books. Yes, you have to. Mike Lee says, Trump's right. The Constitution puts Congress in charge of D.C. Congress has delegated that authority to the D.C. government. Big mistake. My bill, the Bowser Act, would fix that. It's time to repeal D.C. home rule. D.C. is unsafe. Congress has a duty to make it safe again. I 100% agree. Let's listen to what Trump had to say about this.
Do you think D.C. should govern itself, or do you think that governing of District of Columbia should go back to Congress?
I think that we should govern District of Columbia.
Turn it down just a hair.
The D.C. situation. I think that we should run it strong, run it with law and order, make it absolutely flawlessly beautiful, and I think we should take over Washington, D.C., make it...
I 100% agree. I don't want to cut you off, Bryce, but we already got the gist of the argument. And again, we don't want Washington, D.C. to be full of crime, ridden, and disgusting. And it's actually a beautiful city. It's so historical. There's beautiful homes and properties there. We should make it safe, and it should be run by the government because a bunch of liberal whack jobs who don't believe in punishing crime are running it right now. So fuck that shit. George says President Trump now said we have to have Greenland. I'm gonna skip. I want to actually hear this from his words.
Greenland in a while? Are you
No, No. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security and international security. We have to do something with Greenland. We have to protect Greenland. But we need it for national security, and we need it, maybe more importantly, for international security.
All right, we'll just do one more.
Can I just follow up? Are you seeing it as part of any of the discussions you're having with Europeans and Putin in some sort of peace deal?
No, we have to have Greenland because of the national security picture. Even more so now than it would have been 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when they talked about it then too. You know, they used to talk about it years ago. They were talking about Greenland, but much more so now with, modern weaponry, planes, and the speed of planes.
Yes. So what he's touching on is actually what I probably talked about earlier in this week, which is that we need to have Greenland, and maybe it was the end of last week. We need to have Greenland because
all of the things. So
the easiest path for nuclear weapons, hypersonic weapons, to attack the United States without us having any defensible recourse is by going over the Arctic, and we need to fix that. And this is just going to happen. So if you don't like that, whatever, doesn't fucking matter. It's happening. China, 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 and real Donald Trump boys. So investing said, just in, Asia stocks tumble across the region on Trump tariff jitters. Japan's Nikkei falls 1.3%. Somebody was nice enough to point out that BABA was up 7%, so I just went ahead and blocked them. But this is China's going to be in a world of hurt. We're talking about adding additional tariffs here soon. We're putting them in a very hard place so that we can negotiate with them and get what we want. TLT guys yesterday actually closed up 0.12%, and today it's up 0.41% in pre-market. There was this very smart person, I don't know if you listened to him, he was saying yesterday that this is a bearish pattern on the 10-year and that it's going to start rolling over. And it looks very like triple toppy almost. But we're going to see 3% maybe in a year. And again, that Scott Bessent comments, those comments are very important. We're going to be covering those in a second. I think you're going to be very excited to hear what he has to say. I don't know why I put this in here. Oh, I should have put it in the geopolitics. But I said we saved Ukraine and now it's time to return the favor. And so, and we did. That's just what happened. I'm sorry, guys. I get that a lot of people are, especially in Europe and Ukraine. I really get it if you're in Ukraine and your country was invaded, and some of the comments too that you've been hearing from Trump. I get it. I get why you might be frustrated. But we will be streamlining a deal to get minerals from Ukraine in order for the facilitation of what we're doing and for what's coming later. And there might be a lot of things that seem very unfair that come out of Trump's mouth over the short term. This is a part of the deal. He needs to negotiate with Russia. Zelensky is just tiny as fuck. And I mean, I'm not just talking about his physical appearance, and he is super fucking tiny. But he is nothing right now in these negotiations. The only reason that Ukraine exists right now on this planet is because of the United States first and foremost, and then from assistance from Europe. That is the only reason they're around. So let's just be very clear about it. Without the U.S.'s help, they would already be Russian. So we will be working out a deal. There's a reason why he's talking to Putin's talking points right now, because he's the person he's got to work with. And things will get more fair sounding. I'm sure everybody would be pissed off. Maybe Ukraine is more pissed off than Russia. I don't really care. The war's coming to an end. That's just what's happening. I'm not saying these things to be mean or super opinionated. It's just what's going to happen. All right. Wall Street Engine said Trump considering 25% tariff on lumber and forest products. He also mentioned talks with China about TikTok and expects President Xi to visit soon. He's making Xi come to him because that's how you do it. Breaking, Internal Revenue Service. So this is Howard Lutnick. This is the man who has, 20% of his portfolio in MicroStrategy. And then he owns massive amounts of Bitcoin, hundreds of millions of dollars. And here's what he has to say about what's happening with the IRS. I do believe that this will not happen right away, but I do believe that there's the potential to abolish the IRS, or at the very least, reduce it by 95%, 99% staffing, create a flat tax system where if you spend little money because you're poor, you have a lot less of a tax obligation. And if you spend a lot of money because you're rich, you have a much larger tax obligation. And I think that's the way it should be. It's just it's that way. If you're frugal, you do better. If you're some dipshit who buys a $4 million Bugatti like Sam Altman, then you pay more. So I think that's the way it should be. Then think about it. Think about the incentives behind that. Somebody like Elon Musk with Tesla, who is really frugal with his money, who doesn't have big mansions, who doesn't buy Bugattis anymore. He got that shit out of his head when he was like in his early 20s. then they are able to go further with their capital. The better they produce, the better they lower their tax rate. But companies that are and individuals that are shit with money, they will suffer from it. And I think that's the way it should be, right? That's the way it should be. This is called meritocracy.
And I'm telling you, you watch it, we're going to do it.
If you get savings from these Doge cuts, are you going to get...
Also, to be clear, on a flat tax, the tax would be lower than what people are paying right now.
Give any of this back to the American people? We keep hearing about these Doge dividends.
It'd probably be less than 20%.
Donald Trump announces the External Revenue Service, and his goal is very simple. His goal is to abolish the Internal Revenue Service and let all the outsiders pay. I mean, this is someone who is focused on America. Let's drive down our waste, fraud, and abuse. I'll give you an example. Cruise ships. You ever see a cruise ship with an American flag on the back? They have flags of like Liberia or Panama. None of them pay taxes. None of them pay taxes. Every super tanker, none pays taxes. Alcohol, all foreign alcohol, no taxes. This is going to end under Donald Trump, and those taxes are going to be paid, and Americans' tax rates are going to come down. That's what Donald Trump wants to do. Balance our budget and cut our taxes. I mean, imagine a Democratic senator going against that. What planet are these people?
What planet are they on? I have no fucking idea, Howard. But again, that's what's happening. This is the plan, and I think I don't know if we get there right away. Maybe we get there after the midterms in 2 years. Maybe it takes 4 years when J.D. Vance is the president. I don't know, but I do believe a flat tax is coming within the next 2 years, and then I believe whatever happens after that, because there's probably going to be a transitional period. I can't wait to see Donald Trump talking with Keir Starmer. That dude is a piece of shit. Sorry, I was trying to be diplomatic. I'm definitely not a diplomat. This says The Telegraph that reports that Keir Starmer is traveling to Washington to present Trump with a plan on deploying around 30,000 European peacekeeping to Ukraine after a peace deal. He will urge Trump to have his U.S. jets and missiles on standby. Okay, yeah. There'll probably be some varying degree of this that will happen. It'll very much be on Trump's terms. All right, Brick said... United States, okay, this was the other day. Let me see here. 10 hours ago. Elon Musk, so Trump retweeted this. Elon Musk, the president's instincts on Ukraine are absolutely right. It's really sad that so many parents have lost their sons and so many sons, their fathers in this pointless war. Now, notice he said his instincts are right. He didn't say the facts were right. These are nuances that people should pay attention to. Eric Dougherty said after tonight's interview, one thing is clear, Trump and Elon are bros. They're not getting separated. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, we saw that one the other day. That is very true. 6,000 IRS agents will be laid off today. And all they said in here is just remember that Democrats will probably be making a huge deal about this, but just remember the fact that Keystone Pipeline had, over 14,000 people that were laid off under Joe Biden. This hurt us. Economically, it hurt us really for our ability to be able to defend ourselves and to keep inflation down, right? We won't be making these mistakes. But he's just saying, remember these people that are like, yeah, I don't have a job now. I don't even know what I'm going to do anymore. So that's a big deal. All right, skip that. We said that yesterday. I hate it when this stuff resets. Zeldin EPA discovers. So the EPA, guys, remember there's a Doge EPA now. They said they discovered $2 billion stashed away by Biden admin for Stacey Abrams' linked climate group. $2 billion. Bye. Say goodbye to that money, Stacey Abrams. I used to like her. George, President Trump is now interviewing Elon Musk. That was a great interview. If you guys haven't seen this, you got to see it. There's a part of this where Elon makes his joke about the whole, you guys have probably heard it a million times. I have too. It's not that funny after you've heard it 20 times, but where he said in here that he wants to go to Mars, but he doesn't want, he wants to die on Mars, but he doesn't want to die on entry. And Trump giggled like a schoolgirl. Like I've never heard him laugh before. These guys are bros. They love each other. And despite what you're going to hear in the press and a bunch of fake bullshit that gets put out, these guys are very much in alignment on where they're headed. Oh, you want to see a massive beatdown, an RFK-style beatdown on Big Pharma and this dipshit right over here? Listen to this on CNN. Follow Callie Means if you haven't already. This dude is a badass. #1 New York Times bestselling author, good energy. You guys have to listen to this. This is so good. Here we go.
Trust in public health? No, it's the public health leaders themselves. It's people defending with the record that's happening to health at HHS.
So just remember, he's defending Robert F. Kennedy here, and listen to what he has to say. It is wow.
Why cuts are bad. Of course we should make cuts. Of course the personnel should be changed. What's causing distrust in public health authorities is conflict of interest, like Dr. Offit taking millions of dollars from pharmaceutical makers like Merck while approving
he's right there.
And
he's
recommending
right there.
pharmaceuticals on ACIP committees. It's the fact that Dr. Offit's saying that science is always settled when he himself has approved vaccines that have been recalled for causing organ failure for kids. And it's the fact that Dr. Offit is talking about measles, which is important. And I want to be clear, Hamilton, I want to get this out. It's important. But there were 300 deaths from measles a year before the invention of the vaccine. We have 38% of children right now having prediabetes. Bobby is focused on that. He's focused on reorganizing the department. And that's what we should be talking about, not this distraction. Trust in public health.
Just crushed this guy and called him out on national television. I'm here for it, guys. We already talked about that, all the stuff that he's going after. 20 hours ago, U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent to skip the G20 finance ministers meeting in South Africa. You know why we're not going to South Africa? I listened to all these stupid, fucking retarded liberal people speculating on it. It's very simple. They want to murder white people, and so we're not gonna go there. It's that simple. If you call for the murder of white women and children and all the farmers, the Afrikaners, we're not going to fucking recognize you. Just like the fact that we're probably going to sanction them and tariff the fuck out of them. If you're going to be barbarians, you're going to stay in the barbarian age. Anybody who's played Civilization understands that. All right, Benny Johnson. Breaking, the Pentagon is submitting a list of employees to Trump. So this was a couple of days ago, but again, we're going to be wiping that out. Here's an anti-Israel students started occupying Swarthmore College in Pennsylvania. This is in the United States. I don't know. If these guys are out here on any kind of student visa, ship them the fuck out. Get the fuck out of this country. You don't like this country, get the fuck out. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, saying Trump's a good man. Oh, this might be one of the scenes. Let me see real quick here. No, okay, that's not. All right, it's a good one, but it's not. All right, Zelensky cannot claim that to represent the will of the people of Ukraine unless he restores freedom of the press and stops canceling. Ooh, we got a community note. According to the Article 83 of the Ukrainian Constitution, elections may only be held after martial law. Okay, I don't give a shit. They still, what he says up here, freedom of the press, they're still censoring the press and they put people in prison for them writing things that they don't like. So let's end the war and then let's have fucking elections and force them upon Zelensky. Because again, that's what should happen. If we're going to be saving a democracy, it better be a fucking democracy. We don't not want another Putin in the region. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Oh, let's keep going here. Let's see what else we got. All right. It might be good. Might be caught up. Fed minutes show that the bias, Fed minutes clearly show the bias the Fed has towards President Trump. So this is James E. Thorne, our Canadian friend. Federal Reserve's acknowledgement of potential changes in trade and immigration policy as factors impacting inflation implicitly points to Trump's economic agenda, particularly his tariffs and restrictive immigration measures. The January 2025 OMC minutes state participants cited the possible effects of potential changes in trade and immigration policy as risks to inflation. Yes, the Fed is political. Tariffs do not cause inflation, and restrictive immigration does not create inflation. So what he's saying here is they're basically being political and full of shit and disingenuous, and it's 100% true. We already did that one. Let's see. Do we have any others here? The House Dems are trying to hide the biggest fraud in history. So let's read this real quick here. House Dems are trying to kill Elon's Doge program. Need just 3 GOP defectors in order to be able to kill Doge. They're not going to be able to. We're not going to spend a lot of time on that. Kash Patel, guys. Kash Patel getting voted into the Department of Defense today. Is that his job? I don't know. But he's going to crush it. This is happening. It's just a matter of time. Not worried about it. Let's see. Are there any more? I think we might be good. Oh, I did have this. Probably going to piss off a bunch of people. I said, it seems like there's a lot of people in Europe and Ukraine who want to fight a forever war. And somebody told me that forever wars are a U.S. thing. Okay, cool. Fair. I said, wishing you luck. The USA is done. Let me see here. I think that's it. I think the rest of these are good. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good enough. So let's go over real quick. We need to go to Doge, and then we need to, we might even go to U.S. economy first because there is stuff to talk about here. I've got to find this video. If you guys have a link, I want to see it, okay? All right, here, Bobby is in his 70s, and he's jacked. Dude, I'm trying to get to Bobby's level. That's where I got my buddy Robert Group and his wife, Trammy. Trammy, I hope that's right. I think that's how you say her name. She is tough as fuck. It's really... I'm like, yeah, and so I'm doing all good, and I'm doing all these things, and I'm working on this, and she's like, how are you going to get 1% better? And then I kind of tell her what I think is the right answer, and then she's like, okay, and what actionable things are you taking to make this happen? She does not mess around. I fucking love her. And then she even told me that I was using negative terms about myself in the previous tense, but that I shouldn't do that. I should be positive. And I'm like, God, I literally say that shit to my daughter, and I guess I need to learn it too. But I love her. I love them. Thank you very much for the nutritional help. We're going to start cooking some new food starting this week. And thank you very much for just, again, like personal training and nutrition. These guys are awesome, and they're transforming my life, and I really appreciate it. U.S. Treasury Scott Bessent said, terming out the debt is a long way off. This is a huge deal. I don't think people understand how big of a deal this is. This is why the 10-year is down 0.66% this morning and why TLT is up 0.4%. Everybody was worried that they're going to term it out really quick. Term it out. I guess I should explain this. So that the last Treasury Secretary, who shall not be named, she, being the idiot she is, basically set up a time bomb for the Trump administration, right? She has been using shorter dated securities in order to be able to artificially create quantitative easing because the stuff's getting monetized right away and banks are gobbling it up. And so she was basically, while we've been quantitative tightening, which is really bullshit, we might have been lowering our balance sheet with the Fed, which just means that they're selling off securities, right? Dumping on the market essentially. And we might have lowered rates initially, but then paused for a while, which I think is wrong. I think we need to lower more. But anyway, we might have done those things, right, which are kind of like quantitative tightening and taking a breather. But really, the entire time, the Treasury has just been dumping on shorter dated securities, which all that does is it issues a bunch of higher interest rate debt over shorter time frames so that if we're able to refinance in the future, the long-term debt, the 10s, the 20s, and the 30 years, thank you, FBI, that those are done at much lower interest rates so that you don't have like the crazy interest on debt that we have right now. That's the game plan, right? But it's kind of a time bomb because they did this for years and then we get it and we've got to fix it. So everybody was worried that right away Bessent will be issuing longer dated securities. He's not an idiot. He's not doing that. It says Fed is running down its Treasury holdings. And he said easier to extend duration when not competing with the Fed. The Fed rate cut was oversized in September. So he's actually saying that the Fed rate cut is okay. Interesting. Again, and maybe the reason he's saying that is because the Fed really has no control over the long end of the curve anymore because of the fact that they cut aggressively and people just looked at the U.S. and they're like, how can we trust your debts? When the previous administration is spending like fucking crazy, and we think the new administration is going to do that too, and we don't think Doge is going to be effective. Well, Doge is effective, and these guys are going to be cutting a lot of things, and they're going to be very pro-growth. It's all going to be really good, and we're going to see that in TLT's price action. We will continue to see that. It's going to be beautiful, and I think soon. I think now. He said he sees revenue increase and cost decrease under Trump policy. These are all beautiful things, guys. These are all beautiful things for the Treasury Secretary to be saying. People are not bullish enough. Bloomberg Market says U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that any move to term out U.S. debt would come after bringing down energy costs and deregulation. I'm actually going to. This is probably behind a wall. Let's see here. Yeah, this is behind a wall. Let me see if I can get the actual article, guys. Give me a second. There are tools that you can use, like archive.ph. And so this is the cool thing. If somebody already ran this as an archive against it, you can actually find the new one. They have not yet. So I actually have a subscription to this. I might even need to renew it. I'm going to look at it. And if it's interesting, I will post the archive.ph so that you guys don't have to have a subscription to this shitty service to be able to find these interesting details. So I'll take care of you. Don't worry about it. Fuck Bloomberg. All right. I wanted to say here, flat tax. Again, spend less, pay less. Spend more, pay more. System is so much simpler that the tax collection is much less. It's that hard. Bro, need to look at TTD, overreaction after earnings, and is sitting at huge support. Okay, maybe. And so here I said, so investing.com said potential impact of Trump policy stirring inflation concerns at Fed minutes show. I put, and yet the 10 years down today and getting ready to roll over. Isn't the Federal Reserve special? Financial Juice, Fed Minutes, several participants suggest halting or slowing the balance sheet reduction pending debt ceiling resolution. Guys, are we paused on the balance sheet reduction and not dumping on the markets anymore? And then we know that we're going to see the biggest amount of buybacks in history, surpassing $1 trillion? What? And when the Treasury, because of this debt ceiling discussion, the Treasury will actually be running down their balance, and that will be something that creates tons of liquidity. What's the difference between MSTX and MSTU? Slight differences in the fees and probably volume. So I would look at them and see which one has greater volume. Also, they can unpeg and not be closely related to the 2%. I think the 2x that they're trying to do for the underlying, because they use the derivatives market in order to try and come up with those numbers. So seeing which one tracks better is probably good too. I'm using MSTX right now. Ralph, the flat income tax and consumption tax is a Singapore approach, and it's worked so well for Singapore, has it not? Look down at the bottom left, guys. You'll see that Bitcoin is at 97.4. Looks like it pays to own Bitcoin today. Wait one sec. Sorry, I heard my daughter. All right, Eric Balkunis says ETFs. Okay, we already looked at this one. Essentially, I think we did. ETFs took in more money in the first part of the year than they ever have. And it's just massive inflows. So there's some signal here. Let me see if there's anything else I want to talk about real quick. Sometimes the bookmarks aren't quite right. No, I think that's good. I think that's good for U.S. economy. Let's go to Doge. Let's go to the Doge. We're going to save geopolitics because it's a lot of bullshit. This is going to be... Do we have our quantum computing people in the house? Are you guys here? Are the quantum computing people here? Can you guys tell me if you are? Raise your hands. So I'm not going to lie. I'm actually interested in quantum computing now. Partially just because of this. More and more breakthroughs with quantum computing. Yes, okay. Aphrodite's here. But this statement from Satya Nadella was amazing. Was utterly amazing. If you guys haven't read this article, you absolutely have to. There's three. Yeah, Alejandro. Is he here? I don't know. Maybe he bailed. He'll be here later probably. But he's probably going to be shocked. But they were talking about how there's like three states of matter, right? Like gases, solids, liquids. Like three main states of matter. But how they've created a new one and how quantum computing is years away. Years away. Which is beautiful and shocking. And it's a huge statement. And getting validation from Elon Musk, too, is also another huge statement. So, I don't know. Makes me pretty interested in Microsoft. I'm not going to lie. You guys should check this out. This is a really crazy article. I'm going to repost it again right now. Did I? Okay, right there. I'm going to repost this again because you need to read it. You need to read it, man. This is crazy shit. 1 second here. Let me undo. And let me redo. So check that out if you haven't already. Can we 30 minutes before the market opens just look at the charts of stocks we have, make a list of the stocks always, and decide entries and exits? For example, SMCI went up 138%. I don't know that I can do all that in that period of time, man. And that's not what I want to do. So I'm going to say no on that, Dario. I'm going to say no for now. I might rethink it later. Johnsonville, does the quantum computer narrative make you feel like selling any bit of... No, not remotely. Ignore all that noise. Bitcoin can be... First off, if it's Microsoft doing it, I feel pretty good about it. Secondly, quantum computing, there are ways already in place and that people have been working on to make Bitcoin quantum resistant. And it's going to be much easier to hack the entire banking system in the beginning than it is to hack Bitcoin's network, just to be clear. So I'm in no way worried about that. You should never be worried about that. Okay? What is your take on leading indicators? I mean, are you talking about the LEI, the leading in that one? Is that what you're talking about, Casper? Adam E. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't like looking at really archaic data like the Fed likes to do. And there are leading indicators, and there's data points that are really relevant to like now too that are also interesting. In 1 minute, we have initials for jobless claims. We should look at that, bro. We should look at that. It's like happening now. And then we'll get back over here because I do want to jump next into Doge. So let's do this. We'll get over here. We'll get over here and we'll refresh and we'll get ready for those jobless claims. We got a lot, actually. Jobless claims, Philly Fed, lots of Philly Fed, the CapEx data, the employment, the new orders, all that stuff is really big. So it's going to be, we got a lot of good data points coming. And we got Canadian shit. Everybody loves Canadian shit. We got Mexico shit. Got lots of stuff. Lots of stuff, guys. Sorry, I cussed too much. I'm working on it. How do we feel about Strike versus MSTR? I'm probably going to get some Strike, but I'm going to wait. I want to do that later. I want to do that closer to the bear. All right, Canadian PPI year over year, 5.8%. Interesting. All right, so theirs is going up. Let's go down to ours. Initial jobless claims, well within consensus and forecast. Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, 18.1 versus consensus of 20 and 18 for forecast. Cool. Jobless claims continuing lower than consensus and forecast, just barely, but good stuff. Jobless claims 4-week average lower than forecast. Great stuff. Lower than the previous. Great. Philly Fed business conditions, 27.8. Previous was 46.3. So we had a decent drop there. Let's look at it super fast on the big old meter. And so this is still the right direction, basically since mid-2022. So I'm not worried about it. Let's see, CapEx. Oh, I refreshed. I got to do it again. I shouldn't go into those charts right away because it gets weird. Philly Fed CapEx dropped, but let's see. Did it drop at a decent level? I see it had a huge report last time. So let's zoom in here to the 10-year. So it dropped down to here, but the trend is still very similar, except later 2023. It looks like CapEx has started to rise. We just had a crazy reading last time, so I'm not worried about that. Philly Fed employment, and again, guys, this is around Philly. That doesn't look bad either. This doesn't look bad. This doesn't look like rollover to me. It still looks like an upward trend. We could be proven wrong next time, but I'm not worried about it. New orders. New orders. Were we just talking about leading indicators? When you're looking at Philly Fed data, I would say that new orders is a leading indicator, right, of what the rest of the data is going to do, or at least it can be. Like if you're spending a bunch on CapEx, probably a good sign. If you're spending a bunch on or if there's a bunch of new orders coming in, probably a good sign. This is very much still strong. We love that. We like to see it. Not angry about it. Prices paid. Prices paid can't be too high, but it looks a little high. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see how high it is compared to historical. So, but I mean, it's not higher than metrics that we saw at all of 2018 to 19. So I'd still say that this is reasonable, but we want to keep an eye on it. And I do think it's going to roll over, but we'll talk about more about that later. So I think the data's pretty good today, guys. I don't see anything crazy. It looks like Bitcoin's holding on. Looks like TLT is still doing all right. Looks like the 10-year bond is still rolling over. It looks like AMD is getting a little bounce. It looks like Iron Energy is up 2% in pre-market. CleanSpark is up 1. Mara is up 1.2. Why am I doing all this? Why don't I could show you guys some stuff too. Let's just do this. So we'll pull this up over here. Well, it's in pre-market. So again, Tesla looking green. I don't know, not too bad of a market. Some of the bigger dogs are down or just kind of flat. I think that's okay. I think this is a pretty good way to start off the day. What is our CNN fear and greed looking like? Let's just check it. 48. So still fear to neutral. Don't hate that number. And I'm assuming the CME Fed Watch tool. Yeah, Palantir took a pretty big dump. Maybe it was to sell the news because of the book. I also think, though, so there were a few things with Palantir. I think the talk of reducing government for or the Department of Defense budget for some reason is hurting Palantir, which is just retarded. It should have the opposite effect. But I do think, though, there's some other things to think about, right? So book, great. Shows you why Palantir and Alex Karp are so great. Value of Palantir, valuation, super fucking high. Super fucking high. Really, really high. So that's not great. I think it's think the creatine is probably more right now for me than the coffee. But yeah, so valuation crazy high. Honestly, Palantir could drop into the 80s and 90s. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but from a technical standpoint, it's just retarded. And here, I'll show you real quick. But I also think I mean, again, Palantir's done all right governmentally. And again, these are just narratives. They pass over time. But I think the high valuation with the thoughts of somehow some negativity behind Palantir in regard to the government reductions, which I think is stupid. I think if anything, they're going to benefit from that. Tied in with the end of the Ukrainian war, because again, they're helping facilitate this war in regard to Ukraine existing. These are some of the people that have done it. And if you read the book, you'll understand just how impactful they've been compared to traditional military, right? But there's something you need to look at here real quick. If you own Palantir, guys, like this is a huge fucking gap. This is a huge gap. So I haven't put it in here. Let me do this. I'll copy this one over here, and then I'll dump another one in here, and I just got to show this to you. I mean, this is ridiculous. If you think, like, again, there's the Palantir Moon Boys that will always tell you that it's beautiful, and I love the company and I love Alex Karp, and I've missed a bunch of opportunity here. I'm just gonna be straight. But the chance of at least this filling, there is literally, look at this. There is no volume in here, guys. There's literally no trading in this range. You will rarely, if ever, see that in a stock this big. And Karp has sales scheduled, but it's just a fraction of but it's probably another narrative, right? So I'm thinking there's at least 3 negative narratives behind this. Actually 4. There's the DoD reductions. There's the Ukraine-Russia war coming to an end. There's Karp selling his shares. There's actually 5. There's the book came out. That's a sell the news event, right? This is a sell the news event. And then at the same time, we have a valuation that's really high. It's really high. And then 6, a huge gap. So I think it's very easy for Palantir to drop to at least this level. I think it would be crazy for it not to. It doesn't mean that it has to. Shit is weird. All kinds of shit can happen. But I do think that not at least touching the 50 moving average, which we did here, which we almost did here, which we almost did here, which we did here. We went actually all the way to the 200 over here in August of 2024 at the 21 level. I think it would be crazy for it not to touch the 50 moving average. And I do still think there is potential that we go down and close the 200 and the 45 range. Nobody wants to hear that. But I mean, smart people, guys, if you weren't borderline, like if you're not borderline retarded, one of my favorite words, then you would have sold some of your Palantir if you were up 2,000% from holding this thing in December of 2022. So 23, 24, little over 2 years, you made 2,000%. If you didn't sell any, I mean, it's really cool to be a cheerleader. My daughter wants to be a cheerleader, I guess, when she gets older. Oh, that's scary as shit. But you got to take profits. You got to take profits. Funny thing is, cutting spending means contracting. I agree, Victor. I do agree with that. I think you're right. But I do think it's crazy to think that Palantir is just going to go up in a straight line. You got to be pretty retarded to think that this is the music's not going to stop. You got to be retarded. We're in the banana zone. It could still go higher from here, but it would not be crazy to have this thing go down 34% before doing so. And maybe even I'll pick some up at 34%. I really did love the book. Alex Karp, if nothing else, just to be a patriot. Again, I support things that help the country, and he is definitely one of those. I love Alex Karp. I think he's an Elon Musk, and he's not quite as gifted as Elon Musk, but damn, man, he's good. And but I think you also have to be prepared, guys, not just for that. Again, I think you have to be prepared to see this thing try and fill this gap. Maybe it doesn't fill it. Maybe it just touches it and closes it a little bit. Because again, some gaps don't get filled. You got to remember that. And there's a bunch of gaps that aren't getting filled. I actually don't have them all on here, but there are so many. There are so many gaps that are not filled. Let me just grab, let me see here. I might have to do it this way. There are so many gaps that have not filled. So this thing has, I think that's, oh no, there's another one here. There's another one right over here. Let me do this. There are so many gaps that have not filled. And so you gotta expect at least some of the closer ones to do that. You just have to. Again, maybe these ones, maybe none of these fill, but odds are that this one will definitely fill, and this one definitely could. So, and then the valuation for this would be stupid. Would be like, actually, I shouldn't say stupid. It would actually be something where you could make an argument. Wishful thinking. Yeah, okay. We'll see how that plays out. What are you talking about, Jesse? It would be awesome. Clean Spark Mooney. Palantir dropping. Oh, okay. Gotcha. No. Okay. Now I got the context. Yeah, it would be this is possible. This is possible. I mean, really, volume gets wicked right here. Let's make sure we're getting the whole thing. Volume is wicked right here. So there's definitely a huge shelf at 37, and there's a decent amount at 45. But there's nothing going all the way down to the 80s. There's nothing. There's nothing there. So I don't know, man. That's my 2 cents. But if you don't mind it going down into the 80s again, then cool. Just hold it, and add to that position. Just hold it and add at 80s. I'll probably add some around there. Again, it might be a small amount. It might be 30, 50,000. But it just to be a patriot, just to help. All right, let's keep going. So again, the data looks good, guys. I said this should not and will not happen. And so to be clear, I was talking about the $5,000 check called Doge dividend, because if you do the math on this, it is a massive amount of money that we'd be sending out. Way more than what we've saved, and so I thought that was retarded. But again, like a 10% cash back, I love that program. You help us cut money or cut expenses for the federal government, we'll give 10% of it back to you taxpayers. That sounds cool. Put 5% of it in a Bitcoin reserve. That sounds cool. Put 5% of it in our sovereign wealth fund. That sounds cool. I'm all about that. Let's do that shit. Let's do that. All right, guys, got to listen to this woke ass person talking about DEI. Got to hear this.
You know, I actually wish that the government would extort us more. My name is Beck. My pronouns are they, them, and Elon is he's a threat to democracy. You know, I'm concerned.
All right, she's kidding.
It is in the nation's best interest to continue being extorted by the government through taxation, and it is frankly none of our business where they're spending that money. I saw a report that Elon found $4.7 trillion of untraceable spending from the Treasury Department. Who does he think he is? It is none of our business. You don't understand. Government transparency is a threat to democracy. $2.7 trillion in improper Medicare and Medicaid payments? No. Our healthcare system is literally perfect. They said that they found 20 million Americans over the age of 100 receiving Social Security benefits. Assuming that that is fraud is frankly a threat to democracy. USAID is not a money laundering organization, and if you ask questions, you are a threat to democracy. No, listen, I hear you. The Pentagon failed their last 7 audits in a row, but if I mess up on my taxes, I can go to jail. And that's okay. It's not a double standard. It's not. You know, at the end of the day, I hope and I pray that they get Elon out of there. They need to get him out of there and then just get back to extorting us through taxation without transparency.
I love her so much. She was even... this is from Becky Weiss, and she even responded down below. She's like, "Hey, that's me, guys. It's satire. I just want to be I just want people to know that." And she's a sweetie. I fucking love her. She looks like a badass too. Look at this. Do not fuck with this bitch. She could probably take me out. Her arms look bigger than mine. This is a patriot. I love her. I thought it was great. Wanted to share it with you guys. Yeah, right? It's great to have humor because you look at this at face value right away, and you're like, oh my God, another one of these fucking people. But she's a patriot, and she's a wonderful person. Marty Party, Doge News, Department to audit U.S. money to send to Ukraine. This might uncover the biggest financial scandal in history. I don't know if it'll be the biggest. There's so many. There's so many to choose from. It might be up there. I don't know. There's USAID's probably the biggest. Social Security's probably up there. There's so many we haven't gotten to. I can't imagine. The Pentagon is probably the biggest. That's my guess. Reality is indistinguishable from parody. So this dumb bitch is going to talk about how she lost her job. Listen to her job. Just listen to the title and then we'll move on.
National Cancer Institute funded study was terminated.
Oh, National Cancer Institute. I mean, that sounds like a worthy thing. What is her job again?
Received a written letter, but I was told to stop stop work immediately and that no more research expenditures would be allowed.
Okay, to
My
what?
study to explore how to safely collect sexual orientation and gender identity in cancer care practices was in response to the American Society of Clinical Oncology.
I'm sorry, what the fuck does that even mean? Fucking DEI bullshit. Let's keep going. Lee Zeldin, $20 billion in tax dollars stashed outside bank at an outside bank to split among 8 pass-through entities to give to other entities, including even more pass-throughs with massively reduced oversight controls at the EPA. This is a recipe for disaster. So again, massive amounts of fraud at the EPA too, guys.
I want to get your take on how much waste there is. I mean, the Biden administration had a whole of government situation going on, that every agency was talking about climate change and every agency was sending out money to address, quote unquote, this massive crisis of climate change. How much money do you think was wasted in that regard?
We're talking into the tens of billions, if not more. Through the Inflation Reduction Act, this was a massive expenditure of tax dollars. And in the example that I provided you of the $20 billion going out through EPA, it was $20 billion going to a bank distributing to 8 entities.
All right, so we know the rest. But again, guys, this is the world that we're living in right now. And I'm going to cover more in a second. I do have to take a pee-pee, so you guys are going to have to wait a second. I drank way too many fluids today. I have to do that. When you're on creatine, you got to drink a bunch of water. And I already have bladder issues. Maybe those will get better. I don't know. But we're going to get up here real quick. We're going to see if we can get this live stream going for... Oh, I might have to go back a little bit. So they're talking about DeepSeek and this other one. Let me see what this is on here. Or maybe this one isn't working and I got to do the other one. Give me 1 second. Ah, there we go. I'm going to go back a little bit. Give me 2 minutes. I'm just going to get some more coffee. Yeah, let's see. We'll go to OpenAI. All right, there we go. OpenAI. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Right back. Thank you. All right. And we're back. What did I miss? Tell me, guys. Anything good? Oh, I didn't have the volume on. Well, hopefully you guys can read it. That's kind of funny. All right. Yeah, that creatine is awesome, dude. I feel like, I don't know. I used to do a lot of coke when I was younger. It's not quite that, but it's definitely energetic. Definitely energetic right now. Let me see here. Let's get rid of that one. We got too many of these. All right, back over here. Sorry, guys. Sorry. My bad. I'm not trolling. That's just literally incompetence. All right. Natalie Winters, the daughter of Norm Eisen, the architect of several lawsuits against Doge. Again, just corruption. Just corruption, guys. There's so much of it. Yeah, we talked about some of these others. I think there might be some more in there, but I think that's pretty good. Who knows? Maybe we'll end up looking at charts. Let's rock over here real quick to Bitcoin. Classic Jesse, lol. Anyone buying the Palantir? I would wait. The dippity dip's going to get dippier. Creatine, the best next thing after Coke. It kind of feels like it. Honestly, man. My recovery rates are better, and my sleep stats from my really stupid expensive watch, my Garmin, have gotten way better. The best numbers I've ever seen. It's freaking awesome. Nose beers? I've never heard that term. You guys are great. Victor Hernandez. Oh, my throat's just rough today. I should have got some honey. The American Adventure. Yes, new discoveries around creatine are amazing. Thing is to keep hydrated. That's what I'm doing. But I got to pee a lot too. All right, so guys, let's talk Bitcoin. Let's talk Bitcoin and Trump real quickly, and just think about what's happened in the last month. Because everybody was like, "Oh, hey, Trump, is he going to keep his promises about Bitcoin and crypto?" I think he's done all right, barring Trump coin, which I have over 6 figures in. 1, SEC changes leadership and shifts crypto approach. 2, SEC task force tackles crypto policy led by Commissioner Hester Pierce. I love her, dude. She is the best person for this. 3, Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht gets pardoned. 4, Trump establishes a crypto work group under crypto and AI czar David Sachs. 5, U.S. Senate confirms pro-crypto U.S. Treasury Secretary. 6, President nominates A16Z's Brian Quintins as new CFTC chair. 7, Doge to take a crack at the SEC. Crack. 8, Senate confirms pro-crypto Howard Lutnick as Commerce Secretary. Wow. People are bearish right now. You guys need to realize that. There are people that are bearish right now about this. I don't know how. I don't know how you're bearish in this kind of environment. You got to be dumb. Micro to macro. Oh, that guy's familiar. What are the odds that if the reserves are low, we brace a new store of value? So this is talking about. It says Trump says the U.S. will check and ensure that Fort Knox gold supply is accurate. So what if it isn't? What if we have a really low amount of reserves in Bitcoin, in gold? Do we look towards Bitcoin instead? I mean, there's historical precedence to this. I said, if you think about it, China has been stacking massive amounts of gold. Other countries have too. Switching to a new standard like we did with gold back in the day. So when we switched to the gold standard, guys, China stuck with silver because they thought gold was a passing fad and that everybody would be on silver. That destroyed them. It destroyed them. It led them to tens of millions of deaths. I mean, Mao helped a lot. Let's just put that out there. But it destroyed them. They were incredibly impoverished. So if we don't have gold, why wouldn't we switch to Bitcoin? Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we take this opportunity now to really focus on Bitcoin and make that the next gold rush? Why not? It makes 100% sense to me. Let me see here. Sean, national security reasons that won't disclose gold because it's a lot lower than they say. And if that's the case, I agree with that, actually. I agree with that. If that ends up being the case and we go dark with gold, I think that increases the likelihood that we end up going with Bitcoin. Again, just put it in the back of your mind. I say a lot of things. I'm a little Trumpy. I'm a little Elon Musky. I'm a little Alex Carpy because I say things that people don't want to hear or they think are stupid. And but a lot of the things I say end up becoming true. And I would have to say that Donald Trump, Alex Karp, and Elon Musk are very much that way too. So I'm including myself with really great men. But I look forward, and a lot of times people don't like to hear what I have to say, but I end up being right. Sean, national security. Yeah, that was you. Hunmo says, Jesse, when someone says whales are accumulating, i.e. Bitcoin and CLSK, why does stocks go down? Shouldn't it go up? So it depends on you can do things with market manipulation and liquidity, right? There are shorting mechanisms. There are all kinds of ways. And also like Coinbase stockpiled shit tons of Bitcoin, which probably created the huge run up heading into the end of 2023 in order to be able to get ready for the ETFs, right? So they were spending off that, and they were using OTC desks and their own in order to be able to ensure that they were able to get all these ETF providers, of which they support, like, what is it, 9 or 10? I don't even know the number. It's a huge amount of them are under Coinbase. So they ran down that Bitcoin stockpile to suppress the price in order to be able to ensure that the new people coming in with ETFs were able to get a good price on Bitcoin. So I would say that was most of 2024. Obviously, we had a little bump up and established new highs. But I think that time is coming to an end. So there are ways to suppress the price, and I hope that makes sense to you. MB, silver is getting super hard to get, though, right now. Huge bottleneck. And yeah, that's okay. But my whole point is that half a century ago, more than that, we switched to a gold standard. And when we did that, China didn't, and they stuck with silver. And that destroyed their economy for decades, along with other bad decisions. Oh yeah, dude, I did tons of drugs. Yeah, so many drugs. Never really did acid or shrooms. I didn't do the trippy stuff. But I did lots of powders. Love the powders. For many years. But I got out and I didn't end up shooting anything up, which is good. But anyway, I digress. So gold and silver. So China made the wrong decision about what the world reserve currency was going to be, right? Like, or what the store of value was going to be. I shouldn't say world reserve currency, but what the store of value was going to be. And then the world reserve currency was the US dollar backed by that, right? And then that disappeared. But they miscalculated. And I would argue that they're going to do that again. Yeah, the trippy stuff. Yeah. Do the trip. Everybody says that. I got people. I feel like I'm already like mentally there because people are like, I did ayahuasca up in the jungles. And now I don't give a fuck what people have to say, and I just go by the beat of my own drum. I'm like, pretty sure I'm that person already, so maybe I don't need it. I don't know. Akash 2000, Jesse, did you see Matt Schultz post? Which one was it? Was it the one about shorts getting ready to get fucked because there are so many companies that are buying CleanSpark? Yes, we'll show that in a second if that's the one. Adam Back. I love Adam Back. He's one of my favorite people. This is not the purpose of ayahuasca. The American Adventure. Most of the time, those folks stop caring about anything, which is a scary side effect. Yeah, I don't want to be that person. But let's listen real quickly to Adam Back. My buddy James posted this, Invest Answers. And Adam Back is an OG. This guy has talked to me on numerous occasions, and I love him. He's reposted my stuff. He's a great human being. He is one of the original cypherpunks that worked with Satoshi Nakamoto, and it honestly feels a privilege that he even acknowledges my existence. And he is a brilliant man, so let's listen to him.
Well, it's hard to predict the timing, but I think we're certainly in the early stages of a bull market at this point. You know, typically the bull market cycle lasts for a certain period after the halving, and so we're still in the early innings. I think there's very stiff inflows from ETFs buying about 2 times the Bitcoin mined per day, MicroStrategy and the other Bitcoin treasury companies buying another 2 times, and the retail buyers and dollar cost average investors. So really there's a lot of inflow. I think, temporarily there's some consolidation because some earlier investors, sort of midterm investors, profit
Yeah, we'll look at that one, guys.
But, that overlay would set us up for a price where you start to see Bitcoin competing with gold, perhaps pulling money out of gold ETFs into Bitcoin ETFs. And then, of course, if the treasuries come in, like the sovereign treasuries, the Bitcoin reserves, that would be something where you'd see sovereign competition. As soon as one of the bigger countries jumps in, I think the others will feel forced to follow suit. So that would, all bets would be off if that happens. Now, of course, institutional adoption, I think the family offices are faster, more agile, but the institutions are in play. You can see that the ETF 13F filings, which shows you the institutions that have bought Bitcoin via the ETFs, is about 30% institutional. I think there's a lot more capital in the institutional space of pension funds and mutual funds, so there's a lot of room for capital to come in this cycle and into the next cycle.
Yeah, Adam Back is brilliant. And essentially, he's saying that we're going to hit $500,000 to $1 million in Bitcoin this cycle if we get a strategic reserve from the United States. Speaking of that, Vivek, strategic Bitcoin reserve is happening around the world. 1 million is imminent. So it shows Argentina went from public endorsement from government official to legislative process initiated. Brazil is on to law or policy enacted. Chile is in the legislative process. Czech Republic legislative. El Salvador is obviously Bitcoin acquired for reserves. But we've got Germany in this legislative process initiated, Hong Kong, Japan, Poland, Russia. We got Switzerland further off, law or policy enacted, and the United States. So there's a lot of countries already talking about this. There's going to be a lot more. You're going to DCA on CleanSpark today? Probably not a bad idea. I think a lot of things. Somebody said, should we buy MSTX today? It's up to you, man. I actually think it's going to do a really good job. And I might actually switch more MicroStrategy to MSTX. This is the Czech central bank governor saying that we should be looking at crypto and Bitcoin. This is Abu Dhabi's sovereign wealth fund is now a top 10 holder of Bitcoin ETFs. Probably nothing. Don't worry about it. Run away, guys. Run away. And then again, Fold did really great. And this is cool. So Thomas put cool stuff. Carl B. Minger said the odds of winning the lottery versus the odds of guessing a specific Bitcoin private key. So again, with a balance or just a guessing a Bitcoin private key down here, and then guessing any Bitcoin private key with a balance. So these are not great odds. Again, quantum computing, though, can make these a lot easier, but there's steps to get rid of that, too. Much easier to crack passwords for bank-related information. They're archaic. They definitely aren't this. Crypto Rover, European Central Bank says Trump's orders on crypto pushes back banks to get involved, and global FOMO is here. Again, the CAGR's low. We talked about that yesterday. I showed you the setup for Bitcoin, saying that we're in a bullish pennant that's getting ready to explode higher. We talked about a lot of stuff. It's all good, guys. It's all good. This guy right here talking about how he's going to, in every industry in the United States, try and get it, or every sector, essentially industry, every sector, they're going to try and get somebody to stockpile Bitcoin. And Vivek Ramaswamy's retweeting you. You know it's a big deal when that happens. All right, let's go back here. Boop, 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 boop. Let's look at CleanSpark. So every time I see Cantonese meow, I hear a ukulele. There's a reason for that. This guy, every one of his fucking videos, and I won't lie, I don't watch too many of them just because, again, like I'm doing my own thing, and he's probably the same way. I doubt he watches my shit most of the time. But when you play them,
currency market in terms
this
of
one didn't
what
have
you
it?
would expect.
No, it's got to have it.
With
Let me go back.
Bitcoin, with all. Mel, everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat.
Every fucking time. I love this guy. He's my buddy. But yeah, he was pointing out here that also with CleanSpark, we're sitting in a symmetrical triangle, a pennant-ish pattern, and that we're looking to break out. Symmetrical triangle is probably more technically accurate. And I agree. Stock Trader Max, he loves CleanSpark. But he's talking about the same thing. So this right here is what Matt Schultz ended up tweeting out as well, showing top institutional buyers and showing their increases in Q4. Kind of a big deal. Again, we're just in, and if you just look over here, this is institutional ownership for CleanSpark. So you could see at the, Jesus, my phone's just like exploding over here. You could see over here where we were at the beginning of the year, right? And then you can see where we are now. And then if you go back 2 years, it's crazy different. So the institutions, while retail's been scared, they're buying it all up. Definitely something to pay attention to. Let me see what else I got here. Sorry, I just got like notifications galore. What the frick? Sometimes my watch doesn't, you'd think for $1,100 you'd get like notifications in a timely manner. It does not work that way. So I got to figure that out. Lots of things to figure out. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's go to Tesla real quick. We'll talk about that. We're getting close to open and we've rolled through a bunch. So if you guys think that Elon Musk had, like, his relationship with Trump has gotten worse, I would say it hasn't. As he just strolls along like a normal daily walk heading into the White House after getting off the presidential helicopter. Holmar's catalog said supervised 13.28 is the best self-driving system I've ever seen. So if you, I know there's people who think that, yeah, okay. So I know there's people that think that full self-driving isn't here yet but I use this every day and it can do everything. I am so like, I watch YouTube videos in my car. Don't tell anybody. All right, Wedbush reiterates this 4 hours ago, outperform on Tesla, cites gearing up for mass market launch and autonomous growth, price target 550. He said, the worry of the street, you know what? I don't want to read this. Let's just do this. Can I just do this? Does this work? Let me see here. I'm just going to, I don't know. Normally this pops up. Yeah, okay. I don't want to read it. So we're just going to do this.
The worry of the street is that Musk dedicating so much time, even more than we expected, to Doge takes away from his time at Tesla in such a crucial moment and year for the company. The autonomous and robotics battle for market share is in full force both in the US and China, and many on the street view Musk spending 100% of his time with Doge is creating a negative perception around his Tesla focus. The bears will now focus on this Doge issue, isolated protests, brand worries as their latest narrative, but the reality is this does not change the future of Tesla. We believe while perception is reality, this is off base as our work in the field shows Tesla gearing up for a new mass-market vehicle launch in 1H25, making major product developments around autonomous Optimus across its global production ecosystem, Austin unsupervised FSD launch set for June, and a host of other growth EV battery catalysts on the horizon. Musk has always been able to balance his countless initiatives better than any other CEO we have seen, and the innovation and tech machine at Tesla is accelerating into an autonomous robotics future despite growing skepticism around Musk's Doge balancing act.
Alan Y., Tesla owner since January 2021, don't have version 13. Yeah, you probably won't, right? You're running hardware 3. But yours is good. That's just the way it works. You're glitching. Are you okay, Victor? Are you okay? Are you glitching? Yeah. So but if you have version 13, it kicks ass. I've got hardware 3 and hardware 4. Hardware 3 is maybe just a little less competent because the cameras aren't as good. The hardware isn't as good in general, but it's still good. Tesla plans India debut in Q3, aims to ship thousands of cars. So I do believe that this is real. I know there's some negative press making it sound like Trump isn't going to allow this. I think that's stupid. It's going to happen. And something about being unfair, just ignore it. It's all fucking noise. Let's keep going. Son of the Walkie. Tesla signs contract with Watt EV for 40 semi-trucks. Cool. Deliveries start in 2026. Nikola Motor. There's a lesson here, guys. So if you guys don't know who Nikola Motor is, Nikola Motor was the Tesla killer. I get this stuff from people all the time, right? So I bought Tesla over here, right over here, near the Lowe's. And then Nikola did a lot better than Tesla because everybody's like, oh, Nikola's the Tesla killer, blah, 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 blah. And they did the same thing with Neo and a bunch of other things. But then it turned out to be fraudulent, and the people that mocked me so much lost everything. And I could be bitter and just laugh at them. I mean, I probably did to a few of them. But for the most part, I just left it alone. But this is what happens, right? Everybody talks about a Tesla killer. And these guys, they took a semi and rolled it down a hill because they didn't actually have it working, and they called it in motion. The CEO got arrested for fraud and did prison time, and now they're bankrupt. So there's a decent amount of Tesla killers that fall down this path. So I would encourage you, like the Bed Bath & Beyond people, I remember arguing with them, or the AMC, GMEs, all the shitcoiners that just believe that their shitcoin at the top of the cycle was going to be the thing that was going to replace Bitcoin. There's so many of these like narratives that people have in their head, like BYD right now. People think BYD is great. It's trash. So just don't get confused with the noise and realize that the trash will correct, and don't chase trash. Don't lose a Tesla. Don't lose a Bitcoin because you're chasing trash. Not a good idea. The next Bitcoin is Bitcoin. The next Tesla is Tesla. And that's with Optimus robots and cars, okay? And with energy and everything else. Just don't be fucking stupid is the moral of the story. Hey guys, Bitcoin doing good, getting ready to break above the 100 moving average on the daily time frame. Test up to the 50. Should be getting to 100K soon. So in Oregon, these people are nuts. Did you know Oregon that like I think really, truly, yeah, Rivian. Nobody gives a shit about Rivian. I think Rivian, Lucid, they're all going to die too. But Oregon, I think 60 to 70% of the state is going to turn into Idaho, into greater Idaho. Have you guys heard about that? Do you guys know that they're voting? They voted in numerous counties to secede from Oregon and to move over to greater Idaho. So I think that could happen maybe in the next year and a half. Actually, I should say year to 2 years by the midterms. That'll probably be the time it's made official. And if that happens, I actually think that we could see 2/3 of Washington state do the same thing, where you leave the liberals on the coast and then they join greater Idaho, which is going to be a huge state. So this is just wild to me. But anyway, in Salem, Oregon, where the people are liberal nut jobs, they shot up Tesla store, like literally shot it up. So mainstream media won't talk about it, but that's what happened. Lots of hate. Jeff Lutz said connected learning will be transformational in manufacturing and many other areas. Great read. I haven't read this one yet. I queued it up. I want to read it. But essentially, I think all the robots are going to communicate with each other and increase efficiency, not just on the road, but in the manufacturing process. I think that's going to be a huge thing for us. Very excited to see what happens there. India Tech and Infra said Tesla's considering starting retail operations in India by April of this year, plans on launching an EV under $25,000, and the company could import it from Berlin for sales in India. That does, I don't know, that sounds interesting, and I do believe at least 60% of the story is accurate, so that'll be cool. And again, just me talking about how Nikola went bankrupt and how that's what happens to the Tesla killers. I believe ChatGPT is becoming incredibly unaffordable, like losing tons of money. I think OpenAI will probably go bankrupt in the next 2 years. That's probably not a popular thesis, but I do think that's what's happening. I put so can't wait for this. Oh yeah, that was with Grok. Standalone applications on Mac OS and Windows, and we've seen his voice, which is great. And again, here's the BYD thing I talked about the other day, where these guys are really shit and don't have good automation. They have 660,000 employees. This was in 2023, and Tesla only had 120, even though Tesla had caught up to them with EV sales and was ahead of them for EV sales. I think around that time they were ahead of them for EV sales, but they weren't ahead with, these stupid hybrids and the gas-powered ICE cars that BYD currently makes. But BYD doesn't have the automation, sophistication, and manufacturing of what Tesla has. I hope people realize this. They just don't. This is the same guy who on this speech said that full self-driving was BS and not real, and they weren't focusing on it. And now people believe that a year and a half later from this discussion, not even 2 years ago, that these guys are a leader with their Eye of God FSD solution. You got to realize this is a cash grab. I think that's a lot of it. Again, yeah, I think that's a lot for Tesla. I think we're pretty done. Trevor, I'm going to out Elon Milton. Yeah, Milton. Yeah, Trevor Milton. Trevor Milton. He's going to out Elon. That was the phrase. Yeah. Yeah, funny times, man. Funny times. Good stuff. Let me see here. China. I do want to go over China super quick. I said China does everything in their power to replace the USA as a world power and push for authoritarian dystopian rule across the entirety of the world, and Western investors are like, when will Baba Moon? So again, China's trying to say that Gaza and the West Bank are the homeland of the Palestinian people. They're trying to side with the Arab nations so they can remain in some control of the Middle East, since they already lost one of their partners in Syria. And there's a very strong potential, I think, this year that they lose Iran, as Iran is freed and the people take back their country again with our help, which we owe them that help because we put them in the situation they're in right now. Buy shift from China, says our Canadian friend, James Thorne. He said Xi Jinping has recently stated that the hopes of private businesses will continue to get rich first and then promote common prosperity. It's just funny, again, that they are switching away and trying to get away from the narrative and all the work they've put forth over the last 4 years to push common prosperity and crush business in their country. And now they're so desperate for foreign capital that they're trying to make it look like they give a shit about Jack Ma and that China's coming back and embracing capitalism. It is a lie. And if you believe it, if you don't believe that, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You haven't been doing any research to try and understand the truth. The rate at which Chinese people are buying gold is not a good sign for their economy. I'll I'll turn this down a little bit. But look at this. Like, these are Chinese gold suppliers. They've been seeing massive rushes to buy gold in the country. People, when the price dips, they buy more. They're waiting outside stores for hours in cases to buy it. When you look at their bond market being in the 1.5% yield range, and you look at this tells you that this economy is destroyed. People just don't want to recognize it yet in the West because they think they can make money off of a bounce. And I pray for you guys. People like Jake hopefully are smart enough to get the fuck out and take their profits. But I pray for you guys. It's going to be a rough road. Yeah, I was arguing with Long Investor about his push. He told me that I was jealous of him because of his Chinese stocks. I find that laughable. I did ask him if he shares out his portfolio allocation and all his years of performance and all of his trades. I didn't get a response back, so we'll see if he does, if he can respond to that. And here's Palmer Luckey actually talking about China and why there's massive worries. Well, I don't know if it's this specific one. Let's listen to him.
That's how you're going to deter them. They need to look and see that you are a continuously present adversary, that there is a credible threat of violence that extends beyond the weekend. That's the only way we're going to keep them from running roughshod over everybody. And this may be more political, but I'll say it anyway. Taiwan is not the end state for China. And all the people who think that this fight over Taiwan is the real fight are missing the point.
Yep.
They believe that the Philippines is their territory.
Yeah, they harass them every week.
Korea is their territory.
Yep.
They also believe that North Korea is their territory, but they like them as a buffer state with South Korea. But that would change the moment they could actually capture South Korea. And they even think that most of Japan belongs to them. They think that it's theirs. They've tried over and over for thousands of years. And even today, like, even publicly, they won't say they own all of Japan, but they do maintain they own part of Japan. Like no, maybe we don't own all of it, but like that part, that's definitely ours. It is really dangerous to let people with millennia-long ambitions of ruling those areas go unchecked, because like even if you don't give a shit about Taiwan, which you should, because our whole modern economy runs on chips from them, and until we figure out how to make them better or as good ourselves, like we have to keep them around. Like even if you don't give a shit about Taiwan, there's a lot of reasons to make sure we're spooking China on day 8, day 80, day 800. And
he was talking about how we don't have enough, we don't have the arsenal. We've got this archaic system of building really expensive weapons over long periods of time, and we don't have the ability to really fight a prolonged war. He's fixing that. The entire interview is great. You're right, Christopher. I don't know that I have it here, but it's really, really good. But the entire interview is good, and you should watch it. Real quickly here, I do want to show this. This is not, so somebody asked, this is a noodle hot dog car. This is some of the shit you'll see in China. But there's more to this. Isn't BYD, but we'll talk about BYD in a second.
Let's see who dares to buy a secondhand car now. Can you believe it? The hood of this refurbished car is made from...
Yeah, so again, somebody actually refurbished this car with whatever food they had in their restaurant. This is like how China works, though, guys. But they go through here and they talk about some of the Tesla killers and some of these big vehicles they have and how horrible their sales are doing, and how their suspension systems are bad, and how their vehicles rust out.
Areas like the roof, engine bay, door hinges, shock absorber housing, and the undercarriage.
And some of the rustings, and not just BYD, but a number of brands all across China. But talking about how these things suck, how nobody's buying them. Again, it's just the thing that people don't realize, I think, when they're looking at, like, look at this real quick. This is funny. So imagine buying a car. We'll just go to this real quick here. Let me see.
Car brands.
I'm going to lower the volume here. So this person, they're having to have one person hold this
the quality of domestic
and operate that
really
in order to be
poor.
able to drive the
Can
car
you
because it
believe
broke.
The gear shift lever just broke off. How is that acceptable?
So that's just one thing. Look at the rust. Look at the rust in some of this stuff. This is crazy. Like the rust under the carriage of this car that's a couple of years old. You'll see that in a second, I think.
Highway. Is its gear shift?
Let me see. It's right over here somewhere.
And in reality,
let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, it's right here. Yeah. Okay.
Is
right here. Listen to this.
Focus on making reliable products instead. Take a look at this. This is the undercarriage of a Chery Tiggo 8.
This is a Chery vehicle. This is another EV company that's going to go bankrupt. But look at this.
With only 3 years of use, completely rusted.
3 years. 3 years. Now, this isn't BYD. BYD has its own problems, and they do have rusting, but not this bad. This thing probably hasn't been coated with anything, and it's like inferior metal. It's insane.
Dude.
Look at that. You can literally poke your fingers.
Causes rust.
There's a concept in China called tofu dreg, and it's usually associated with buildings because there will be concrete pillars, and you can like punch them, and they'll fall to the ground because it's not real cement. And this concept exists all over China. So, yeah, there's a lot of problems in China, and I hope people actually pay attention to the reality and the truth of it. They don't. They won't. But whatever. Maybe you guys will. Yeah, let's see what else we got here. And then we got people shilling for China all the time. It's so funny. Oh my God, I got to show you guys this one just for a second, and then we'll get back to stuff.
This
you
is
have 11
something
minutes.
I've been wanting to do for a while now. Okay.
This is so good. So these guys, this is Serpenza, and this is Sea Milk. He goes by Huawei something, no, not Huawei. I can't remember what name he goes by, but this is them talking about how the Chinese propaganda machine works. And there's a part in here that you got to listen to. It's really funny. It's right here. Okay. So, and this is Bald and Bankrupt. He used to go to Russia all the time, but then he got kicked out because of the whole Putin thing, because he said the wrong things. Again, Putin's a dictator. I don't know if anybody knew that. But this is them showing the same place. This shows you what Chinese propaganda does. So they pay all these influencers to come here. We're going to roll through it real quick.
Many stories high.
We were walking on ground level from my hotel the whole way to get here, but you actually realize you're on the 22nd floor of a building.
You might think that you're on the ground. You have no clue.
Right now,
I'm actually on the 22nd floor.
It is extremely trippy, but even though it appears I'm on the ground floor, let me show you what floor we're actually on. Turn my camera around, show you down here, we're actually on the 22nd floor.
It may seem and feel like you're on the ground level, while actually you're on the 20th floor.
As you can see behind us, everywhere it just looks like we're on the first floor. But then here, even though we're on the ground level, you can see this bridge. Now, this bridge is actually 22 floors up. And I know that's very bad. It is. But once you look down, you'll realize that we are 22 floors up.
Look, right now it looks like a normal plaza. We seem to be on ground floor level. In fact, are we on ground floor?
Oh, girl, you may be on the 22nd floor.
You guys, we are on the 22nd floor right now. This right here is Chongqing.
Because if you look around, it looks like I'm standing on a normal city square in China, right? Until you walk over to this bridge, you'll realize you're actually 20 stories above the ground.
Oh, you've messed up. 22.
Wow.
Well, it looks like the ground floor. Look at this. This looks like the ground floor, right, of a normal street. Holy shit. Oh, and what floor is this then? That's a 26th floor. Oh, come on. Yeah, this looks like a town hall. The real surprise lies beyond here. Oh, yeah. 22 floors up.
Where you thought you're at the first floor, but actually, you're at 22nd. You might think.
Actually, if you look at some of the building, you can see like rust and concrete breaking away. So no, they don't. It's probably a little better on this one, but no.
We're on the ground floor, but wait for it. We're actually on the 22nd floor of a skyscraper.
We have just walked from the road over here, as I said, on like ground level, and down here, the 22 floors down.
Yeah, 98K.
Oh my
cool.
Chocolato. What is oh my dear chocolato? What is a chocolato? No, this is not good, dude. No. This is.
And so again, this is
just
sure
that's what happened.
This isn't even all of them, guys. This is just some of them. They pay these YouTubers massive amounts of money, and then they push bots in order to be able to influence you. If you guys think that anything you ever hear about China is real, just remember that it's probably mostly fabricated and should be looked at with the utmost skepticism, okay? And if you want to find two guys that lived in China for over a decade and traveled across the entire country and then ended up having to leave, they married Chinese women and they left the country because they were afraid of their own lives as Xi became more authoritarian and they were getting all kinds of threats. And some of the people they knew disappeared in prison. They just disappeared. And God, they're probably dead. So these guys escaped from it, and they still talk about it, and they still know tons of people in the country, and they still get insider stuff that you won't see anywhere else. There's a bunch of other people, too, that you can follow, but these guys are some of the OGs. And our boy here, Winston Serpenza, sitting on the left, he actually escaped from Africa because, well, his family almost got murdered there because you know, the whole white Afrikaner thing. So his family almost got murdered, and he left. Shortly after that, because he was tired of having to worry about his life all the time. His parents are still there. They're insane, but they're tough. But yeah, so good people to listen to. You can learn a lot. You guys should try and find the truth in the world around you and not just listen to propaganda. That's one thing I would highly recommend. There's more stuff, but again, I think Yeah, there's more stuff, but we've talked about all of it. We've talked about the stagnation. We've talked about the capital outflows. I mean, look at this, guys. This is foreign direct investment in China. This shows 2023. Look at the levels it's collapsed from in hundreds of billions of dollars. $200 billion in 2022. About $45 billion in 2023. Almost non-existent. And then look at the outflows. So look at all this outflow and then look at the capital. Basically, since 2020-ish, the capital outflows have been plummeting. And this is destroying their country. It's destroying their country, and they've got tons of problems. But if you guys want to believe whatever you want to believe, it's cool. You can live in your bubble if you want. Everybody has that opportunity. And in some ways, everybody does live in a bubble. Bill B, because they're all subsidized. BYD is highly subsidized, and they're not, and even with that, they're not nearly as profitable as Tesla, which is wild to think of. And then they've been dumping. They created all this capacity, and they have nowhere to put it. And then Russia tariffed their cars by 55%. So they're not dumping them in Russia, and we're tariffing them by a large amount. And then you have Europe looking to do the same thing. So a lot of developed nations are going to be tariffing the fuck out of these guys. So it's going to be really hard to dump these cars in other countries. And eventually these companies will have to go bankrupt because the government can only subsidize them for so long. But that's the world we're headed towards. We got 4 minutes till market open, guys. We'll check that out here in a second. I might even hop over here, see about going live, see what they're talking about, and listen to them for a minute.
Say, understand, this man is going after
And I might head out a little bit early today. I got stuff happening with family, and I still want to hit the gym, and I got to get my workout and my stretching in, because I evidently got the muscles of an old man as far as stiffness. Too much sitting in desks for too long. But we're getting better. Like I said, my buddy Rob and his wife are hooking me up. Victor said legacy media plus YouTube plus Chinese EV all paid. Yes, exactly. And and China pays YouTube massive amounts of money to control the stories. And I think YouTube gladly too. I think they're the whole World Economic Forum. They love China. China.
That is real. Bid for OpenAI. Faber's got that in the opening bell. 4.5 minutes away.
See what else we have for data. Is there anything else coming out in the U.S.? Fed Goolsby talking. CB leading index is coming out at 9. I don't know if I'll be around for that though, guys. I might leave shortly after 8:30 here. Could you share at some point what type of foods you're eating for your new diet? I am doing a really archaic version of it. They just gave me a whole menu to go through, so I'm going to be doing that with my wife, probably partially today, to look to buy some of the goods that we need in order to be able to cook up a big batch of some of the foods that they've been teaching me to make. But I've been buying for proteins. I consume a lot of like Greek yogurt with mixed berries. I forget what brand it's called. They've got the berries like in a separate part of it. And some of it's processed for the berries, but it's still really good. So I eat that in the morning, and then I'll have like maybe my super gut and with a little bit of creatine, and so I'm getting a lot of nutrients from that. Then I'll have like maybe a banana in the morning too, and maybe a yogurt in the morning, and then I also eat like Alaskan crab, like big jumbo chunky stuff out of a can. Those can cost $10 to $20 a can, though it's a lot of money for 3 ounces. But I'll eat like shrimp cocktails. I eat with low on the cocktail sauce because I guess it's high in sodium. But I eat a lot of I've tried to eat like a lot of healthier stuff. And then again, I eat like Wagyu steak and other types of steak. And I'm adding a lot more to my diet too. I'm going to add cabbage. I'm trying to get more vegetables and fruits. I ate strawberries yesterday. Just a bunch of shit, man. Trying to be as healthy as I possibly can. Get your own berries and eggs. Yeah, and I try to get the organic stuff too. I try to get organic when I ever can, and I'm trying to shop at nicer places. So I'm doing better to get like stuff that has the least amount of spray and chemicals and just crap on it. Creatine is so underrated. Dude, I feel so much better, and I'm sleeping better, and my recovery time's better, and I've got more energy, and I'm working out more. I love it. Real foods are the way to go. You need to stick to the outside of the grocery store, man. You don't want to be getting all that shit in the middle. All the box crap. Like, stay away from all that stuff. I will get a lot better. I'm actually getting a lot healthier, man. I'm getting jacked, and I'm feeling a lot better. And I'm loving life. What about take a swing trade on Morrow? Swing trade. I mean, I own a bunch of Morrow. What do I own? I got a bunch. What do I even own? I'm on creatine too. It's unreal. What a life hack. It is, dude. And I always associated creatine with steroids for some reason. And then I saw an article on X talking about creatine and all the studies and the science behind it. And I was like, oh shit, this sounds amazing. As long as you're not like doing large quantities and you're listening, like there could be issues. It could cause kidney issues if you're not consuming a lot of water. There could be other problems that happen. But as long as you're not an idiot, it's wonderful.
I think similar to last year, the last couple of years, very consistently, we have to acknowledge that we are in an uncertain time, and we don't want to get out over our skis here. There's a lot of the year to play out. Again,
if anybody has to worry about tariffs, it's probably going to be these guys.
Feel good about our ability to navigate.
I'll see if I can find it. I haven't done a good job storing health stuff, but I do have a bookmark now.
On delivery with e-commerce, like overall, you're continuing to see this diversification of our business that is improving our profitability.
John David Rainey, Walmart CFO, getting that line about skis.
Thing is, did it cause your hair loss?
Look, John.
I don't think creatine causes hair loss. I got plenty of hair myself.
A very thoughtful person. And off the desk, I would tell you, in my calls about the company, it's business as usual.
Loss, yes.
They're actually quite excited about the year and where they are with inventory, which is what matters in retail. Food is incredible. And a note of caution when we found out that Zelensky was the aggressor. When we talked about how the Boeing plane, maybe there's a problem with Air Force One. When there could be new tariffs on lumber. I mean, look, when you have that every day, it does have your head.
Ding, 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 ding.
About that in a moment. Let's get the opening bell here at the big board. It's Columbia Threadneedle Investments at the NASDAQ. It's Lamb Research.
Lamb Research. Cool, man. All right, let's get over here. Let's look at how things are going. Ooh, Palantir. We're going to close that gap, bitches. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Down 8% today. Woof. Woof, woof, woof. Speeds up genetic hair loss. Dude, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. But yeah, so Palantir down 8%. I'm not super surprised by this. Let's look at the watch list. I think 8% is nothing. I think it can go down a lot more. It might bounce up to fill the gap above it. Yes, 18% in 2 days. Roughly probably 20% in total. And HIMS is down. Grab is down. I guess their earnings was like so-so. Again, this is why I don't chase. SMCI, a lot of the big runners are down today, it looks like. So the things that have had really good days are down. Bitcoin isn't down. Bitcoin's at 98. Oh, I love Wagyu steak. Oh my God, I love Wagyu steak so much. So much. It's such a good thing to eat. So Say's up, Baba's up. Fucking retarded. People are so stupid. Near, Injective, AVAX, Atom, Optimism, Solana. So it looks like all these are starting to bounce. That's a good thing. They've been hit really hard, the shitcoin world. We got MSTX up 2.67 or 2.65. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have still been doing good. They've been great. CleanSpark is up for change. Mara's up for change. Riot's up for change. I'm bonking it. People are bonking it. Total market cap's looking all right. Trump's up. Yay, Trump. I don't know. It looks like an okay day. TLT's up 0.37%. Can't hate it. Probably going to be a six-figure day for me. Oh, Jesus, that hurt. Sorry, guys. Let me kill that. Let me delete that real quick. That was painful. So RG is down. RG is not up. Let's look at RG. RG's taking a breather. That's okay. I don't know what the underlying stocks are doing, but again, I think this one's going to be a rocker. But again, it's had a breakout. Technically, it could still close this gap. You might even still get an opportunity to get in on RG, guys, because we got a daily gap right here. I should probably add that. Let me save and update my chart. This chart is on Discord as usual for anybody who likes that sort of thing. And I'll just show this here. So we still got this daily gap right about here. So that could fill. And I think that's it for daily. I mean, technically, we kind of have a gap. Let's see. Is this on the daily? It is. I mean, technically, we gapped. It's not too bad. That doesn't count. So that's it. That's the big gap. But again, gaps don't have to close. So we'll see what happens with this one. But it could. It could. Let's see what else we got. Tesla down a little bit this morning. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen today. Palantir's getting a little bounce. It's only down 6% right now. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to sign off here. Again, guys, I just want to reiterate something. Bitcoin's near 98,000. There could be air pockets that come up and things. I think you need to be prepared for that. But I'm really, really, really excited about my entire portfolio allocation, which roughly looks like this. And, oh, not that. This, roughly. And I like my allocation. I like the strong Bitcoin position and proxies that I hold. Unity's up 20%. Awesome. I love the Tesla. I love the TLT. I love the ARKG. I love the whole thing. I love the whole thing. I think I'm really well positioned. I think between Bitcoin and related investments and ARKG and TLT and Tesla, I feel really, really good about where I'm at. And I'm excited to see where we go. We broke 98,000, guys. So Bitcoin's doing well today. Bitcoin's doing well today. Gold, not so much. Gold taking a little bit of a breather. So maybe we start to get a pause on gold and we start to see Bitcoin taking off more. Anders says, trust me, bro. I've done more research on creatine than you. Creatine does not affect DHT, so you don't have to worry about hair loss. I believe that. I think hair loss comes with age. And I think a lot of people that are taking creatine are probably people that have aches and pains like me. And so I totally believe that. And I'll do some research on it too, but honestly, I don't even I wear a hat all the time anyway, so it doesn't even fucking matter if I lose my hair. So, but I'd rather be healthy. That's all I care about. I'm all about being healthy. Let's look at grabs. So again, guys, don't chase stuff. Don't chase stuff. Don't be a chaser of things, because everybody that mooned into grab here, we went from 5.54 down to about 5. And who knows, we might bounce here. I don't know enough about the earnings. You'd have to follow Amit for that. But yeah, hair's like the least important. I'd rather be healthy. Daniel Dibb, 2 to 3 years from now, Jesse will turn into the Hulk. Yeah, that's my goal. I just want to be healthy and strong. Comes from teenage daughters. That's where I'm going to lose my hair, BD. For sure. I am right. Being old, lost my hair, not creatine. Yes, there we go. Victor Hernandez, Istanbul and hair transplant. Okay. That sounds like a scary place to get it, but I know people do go overseas to get hair transplants. Fannie Mae up 3% right now. I'm just looking at other stuff here. Apple up a little bit. Yeah, let's actually look. This is going to be a little bit delayed. Hey, Daryl, thank you for joining. Let me see here. Where is it? Where is my heat map? There it is. So let's go from pre-market. This is what we look like pre-market, guys, to today. And again, this is shifting by the minute. So again, Tesla's still down. Tesla's still down about 0.19%. So that's changed a lot already. Elon's hair loss journey. Yeah, he went from losing a bunch of hair when he was young to having a bunch back. And now I don't even think he cares. His kid's like pulling on his hair in interviews. And yeah, I don't think he cares at all. RCAT looking kind of juicy. Sweet. Oh, yeah. So, guys, again, I got stuff to do today. So I think I'm probably going to bounce because I got to get to the gym in a while and get healthy and focus on my health. But I'm super excited, like I said, about our positioning right now in our portfolios. If you're in the same thing I am, I think you're going to love it. I think good things are ahead. Focus on all the beautiful things that are happening. Focus on all the things that Trump has done for our economy. Bitcoin, even just that list that we went through earlier today. All the hardball that he's playing with all these other leaders around the world, the tariff implications, the fact that we're looking to do the right things with extending out the long end of the curve. We got some of the best people we could have ever asked for working in government right now in the United States of America and working on Team Trump. And if you don't believe that, watch that interview from Sean Hannity, even though I don't know that he's a great interviewer. Watch his interview between Trump and Elon Musk. There's a part there where Elon makes his joke and Trump just giggles because it's like he's hanging out with his bro. And also, Elon says throughout that interview that Elon Musk gets shit done and that Doge gets shit done, and that in his first term he tried to get executive orders completed, but it just wouldn't happen. And because people wouldn't get it done. And now he doesn't have that problem. AMD breaking out. Yeah, I would agree, actually. I would call this a breakout. And actually, if you look at it this way, on the weekly, and I don't know if this matches up well with the daily, I'd have to take a look. But I would say that this is considered a breakout for AMD. And think, honestly, it could test up to 133 pretty easy. I do think AMD can come around. I don't know the fundamentals well enough, though. I haven't been paying attention to it. But from a technical standpoint, it looks good. Looks good. But anyway, I love you guys. I'm probably going to head out. I'm going to give us a little bit of music. We're going to FAFO this fucker. So peace out, guys. I will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Otherwise, you have a great day, okay? Bye-bye.
You fucker! You laughed, you mocked, you shut us down. Called us names, tried to run us out. You pushed too hard, took too much. Now you're the ones who've lost their touch. You rigged the game, you changed the rules. Gaslit the world, played us for fools. But tides have turned, the storm is near. Cry all you want, we're still here. Faithful, fuck around and find out. You tried to rule, but your time ran out. Faithful, the silent won't stay quiet now. We're taking back what you burned to the ground. Censorship, lockdowns, all your control. Built your throne on a house of gold. Now you panic, now you cry. Tears don't work, truth don't lie. The games are done, the mask fell off. No more lies, we've had enough. You played with fire, now taste the flame. This time, we're naming names. Faithful, fuck around and find out. You tried to rule, but your time ran out. Faithful, the silent won't stay quiet now. We're taking back what you burned to the ground. You called us threats, you called us extreme, but we remember everything. From 24 and beyond, take your bets, 'cause guess what? We ain't done yet. Faithful, fuck around and find out. Your kingdom's crumbled, your luck ran out. Faithful, no more games, no more doubts. You lit the fire, now it's burning you down. Yeah.